some bullshit earlier. Not bullshit, but yeah. So now I gotta make sure to put record. So yes, welcome back to Our Generation with Melissa Shaw. What was I doing today? Like, even when I just started talking on my show.
Yeah,
I didn't even say welcome to Our Generation with Melissa Shaw. I didn't say educated, power, inspired.
And I just let you do it?
Yes. What? Oh my God.
This is the first time we ever did that, too.
Man, again, like I said earlier, there must have been something on my heart. Like, I just needed to get it out. So it was just like, let's just go. Anyway, so yeah. So I wanted to share my affirmation. So the affirmation that I'm sharing is I can and I will. And that goes back to becoming the person. And you guys are going to hear me say that a lot because I think it's important for us to be reminded that we have to become the person in order for us to receive what it is that we're supposed to receive. And it takes time. It takes energy. And it takes you being honest with yourself and seeing things in you that you may not want to see or you may not like, but if you want to get to the next level, you have to address those things. So I'm excited about having my guest on and the book. So you guys know that I'm in this book club. It's this deep dive book club, and we just finished the book Eat That Frog. And so the book that we're doing now is Atomic Habits, and we just started yesterday. And I wanted to share with you one of the things that they're having us do, an exercise. It is about breaking habits. So they had us do, it's called 333. So what habits do you want to break? Business and personal. Write those down. And then the next one is, what habits do you already have that you want to keep? And then what habits do you want to develop and create? So some of the ones that I put down, I will just read a few. The ones that I want to break is being late, because whenever I have a meeting at Farm Free Life, they always get there before me. As our guest is chuckling over there because she knows, but and not eating. I have a really bad habit of not eating. I could go all day and be like, well, shit, I haven't eaten anything. So I'm really trying to do better at that. Not speaking up and mindless social media, because I can be on TikTok and it's like a fucking vortex and it just sucks. I'm like, it's been an hour and I'm just scrolling. So I need to do better at that. And then putting things off and eating late, because I will be cooking at 10 o'clock at night. A whole damn meal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Because you probably had some balance.
Because I had some balance. Right. You all will learn about that in a minute, but you probably already know about that. So those are some of the things that I want to break. I want to keep exercising and meditation, personal development, and uncluttering, continue to unclutter my house, and persistence. I'm very persistent with people, and I want to continue that habit. And I want to create some other habits, but I'll share those at another time. But now we're going to get into the guest. This is why you all are here. Miss, do you want me to call you Mimi or Timia?
Either is
Which
fine.
I didn't know that your name was Timia.
Either is fine.
Welcome, Mimi.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes.
And we was dressed alike.
I know.
And not on purpose.
No, it was not.
Not on
And of course I had to have red and black on, because,
right.
That's what I do.
Exactly.
But so tell me about yourself. So we met at Farm Free, and when I had my surgery, I have to say, when you sent me a message, you was like, where have you been? Mm-hmm. And you was like, the next time you're not going to be at work, you need to send a request in. So yes, so I appreciate, I love the atmosphere, the vibe in there. How long have you worked there?
A year, almost a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That means I've been going there almost a year. Because I think I was going there before. Wow, that's something. That place is just an amazing place.
Everybody works there.
Yeah.
We all just come in and sit down and get on the computers.
No, really, absolutely.
So everybody works there. It's a whole vibe.
It is. And I've made some good sales there. I've closed some deals and just, yeah.
Yes, we have.
Yes, we have. Because she would definitely be like, hey, kid, the last time you came over and said, you have a business card? Because I want to give it to this lady. So I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So yes, so tell me about yourself.
So it's not really much to tell about me.
Are you sure about that?
I'm so sure. So I am a life coach and an author. But the biggest thing for me is just being a parent and a grandparent. those two things right there, if I didn't have anything else to do, I'd be okay doing that.
Yeah, she'd be bringing your grandbabies. They're so cute.
I only have one.
Oh, okay.
I have a little goddaughter, and she's with me all the time.
I'm all in your business. You're a grandmother.
I know, right?
Stop the presses.
I know, yeah.
I am a grandmother.
Yeah, she looks amazing.
Go ahead, Grandma.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Do they call you Grandma?
She calls me Granny.
Granny?
Yes.
Wow. See, look at how grannies look.
I know, right? This is what the grannies are going to come to.
Yeah, she calls me Granny. I mean, my oldest daughter's 30. My youngest will be 21 this year. And I have a set of identical twin boys that are 22.
Okay.
Yeah, so, a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you said you're an author and a life coach.
I am.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. So, back in 2000, maybe 14 or 15, I had an encounter with a person that I had not seen in years. With that encounter, it was not a good encounter. It was one of a person that had taken advantage of me prior to when I was a younger child, 11, maybe 12. The age is kind of foggy. But once I had that encounter, I started to get visions again. Visions that once you push them back so far, you never get them again until something else happens to bring them
triggers
up.
It.
Exactly. So once I had that encounter and started to get those visions, I had to seek help.
Wow.
And from that point, I've been in counseling ever since. That's the best thing that ever
everybody should be in counseling.
Absolutely. Ever could have happened. Because in the household that I grew up in, your business stayed in your house.
Absolutely.
You don't tell nobody what's going on inside your house. So once I started to figure out what was going on and why I felt the way I felt, and counseling actually helped me minimize a lot of things that I thought were just humongous. And mind you, some of them were.
Yeah.
But that actually helped me get a scope onto what I needed to do to get to where I needed to be.
Right.
So that encounter right there changed the outcome and the spectrum of who I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that happened, how old was you when that happened?
The experience?
No, the encounter again.
The encounter. I was still in my mid-30s.
Okay.
Yeah. So it took a while for me to get to a point where I was able to write, because from the beginning of my encounters with my counselor, and she's amazing, same counselor that I've had for the past 12 years.
Wow.
Same one.
That's amazing.
She is absolutely amazing, but she would always tell me that I needed to write. So for somebody who's been through so many traumatic experiences, to write it down, it's on paper.
Yeah.
And you walk away from that paper, somebody else can come by, read that paper, and know all your business.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, people will take your situations and turn them against you.
Yes.
So be very careful about who you share your information with.
Absolutely.
But even though she was telling me to write, there was also that voice saying, you're going to do it. Come hell or high water, you're going to do it, whether you want to or not. So at some point, I got to a point where I would just journal. That journal turned into something else, and that's how I birthed the book.
Nice. What's the title of the book?
Child of an Addict.
Okay. And where can we find that book at?
That book is on Amazon. If you are local, you can inbox me. I have them as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that brought you to, that brought you to writing the book. So what transitioned to where you wanted to become a life coach?
I don't think that was ever an aspiration. So what happened was, while writing the book, I had to figure out what I wanted to write. So I tried to pick and choose things that I wanted to go into the book. However, once I finished the book and went back and read it myself, I was more of like, so who wrote this? Because there's no way in the world that I would have put this specifically in this book. So I always tell people now that I was just a vessel. God was the author. He had to have written some of those things, because there's no way fully I would have put some of those things in that book.
Wow.
So after the book came out, I was just happy if I could help one person, just one, not a lot, because really it was for me. It was healing for me. It was forgiveness for me. It was understanding me. It was allowing myself to become who I was supposed to be and finding a purpose.
Yeah.
So after it came out and I started getting all these inboxes and messages, some of them from people that I went to school with, and we sat right next to each other in class and never knew that we were experiencing the same situations at home.
Wow.
Because again, you don't talk about what happens at home. So after I got that, and then I started receiving invitations to come and speak to young ladies or women with addictions and so on and so forth. That's how that came about.
Okay. So how long you been doing that?
It's been about 5 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I love how you said that wasn't even on. It's funny how things happen in our lives that put us on a completely different path that
Absolutely.
we would have never expected. I would never expected that I'd have a radio show. Absolutely not at all.
Yeah.
So
that happens.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yes, it does. It does. But again, you started the work.
Yes.
By going to counseling.
Exactly.
And you started to change your mindset and look at things differently. And I think sometimes people don't realize how helpful counseling is. It's basically helping you to navigate what you already have. And having someone from the outside being able to be that guide and move you where, by asking questions that we would not even think of asking.
Exactly. Homework.
Yes.
Because she does assign homework.
Nice.
Absolutely, she does. And that, I think the homework is what jarred a lot of that stuff. And even though it was so uncomfortable, it was rattling, like emotionally, physically, no sleep, no appetite, because she made me go back and visit situations that were not comfortable whatsoever.
Yeah.
She had me go into like the vault, I would say, and pull shit out that I just would have kept there because I don't want to talk about it. And that's where we get complacent, is if we do have situations and scenarios that are debilitating, I'll say, if we don't talk about it, then they're going to stay there. And they're not going to go anywhere. And what's going to happen is your emotions start taking over you. And you have no idea where your anger is coming from. You have no idea where the depression is coming from. All you know is, this is me right now. Leave me alone. But when you visit those situations and scenarios, you figure out that once you talk about it, it doesn't get easy in the beginning. But if you continue to talk about it, then those things become that much easier. And then when you get to a point where it doesn't bother you anymore, then you know that you've reached the peak of that one. It's time to go on to the next one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we're going to go to a song and we will be back in a moment with some more.